7:53 is our time. As we look back on the summer, we cannot forget a person who dominated not only the headlines, but the stage. Jeopardy winner Scott Riccardi is here to talk about his impressive winning streak. Scott's a New Jersey native. He captivated fans with his quick thinking, deep knowledge, and calm under pressure. Good morning to you, Scott. Good to have you on.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Let me just ask this. I mean, I worked at Channel 7 Weird Jeopardy for decades. And it's always been like literally, when I say this, the highest rated show morning to night. Jeopardy. That was it. Higher than the news, the network news, anything. Jeopardy. So, what was it like walking on the Jeopardy stage for the first time and knowing that you had serious questions to think about and answer, yet you were going to be on national television? What kind of pressure is that?
Yeah, it definitely is high pressure. I think leading up to it, I was feeling pretty confident just on the basis of, how it feels to watch it at home. But yeah, as soon as you meet the people that you know you're going to have to be competing against, suddenly that confidence really has a way of evaporating. So
Mm.
coming out of like the lunch break into the first episode that I had to tape, it was definitely just this moment of okay, like I just need to do my best, but like realistically, I was pretty worried.
Understandably so. Do you tape all the shows in a day or two? How's it done?
They tape 5 shows per day with a lunch break after the first three. So my last 15 were just 3 days in a row, five per day. So just kind of a gauntlet of 15 games at the end there.
Amazing. What do you take, like 5 outfits with you, or do they just keep you in the same outfit?
They have you bring 5 outfits. You've got a pretty short window between games to get changed. And after the first two, I'd only rolled up with sweaters, and they said, "Could you go get some blazers over the weekend, perhaps?"
That's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
And your streak, of course, was incredibly impressive. How did you prep for the show? What do you do? Because it could be any topic. So how do you know where to start prepping?
Yeah, it's really tough. I feel like a lot of it comes down to watching the show and getting a sense of where your weaknesses are, and then trying to really sort of fill those in just through a lot of reading. In general, I feel like to cover like uh, a large span of topics, a lot of it comes down to just being really curious, just kind of being on the internet all the time, just doing a lot of reading in terms of, you know, I feel like I always tell people I'm on Wikipedia all the time. When I was younger,
Mhm.
our parents' computer used to kind of slow down because there were too many Wikipedia tabs open. So it's just a lot of whatever information I feel like I ought to know. I try to lock everything down, really.
That's awesome. I mean, I like for me, I love history, which is why I'm in this business. I've been a journalist for almost 40 years now, and but I am more of a vague generic. Like I could tell you it happened in the 1860s, but when you pin me down, what was the specific date? I got to look it up. So that's why when I watch Jeopardy, I think, oh, which date was it? That must be very challenging. So how do you stay focused? Did you have some kind of a technique to stay calm and focused, and certainly to be able to get to sleep the night before and things like that? What did you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was honestly pretty challenging. I know going into the first game, I was coming off of maybe 2 hours of sleep just because I was just so
Oh,
nervous the night before. I think I just sort of kind of got into a certain routine backstage where I would just sort of like have the same thing for breakfast every day, and then I get to the studio and just like kind of eat like one banana, and then just try not to. I tried not to really like cram new information as the in between tapings, just because I was worried that I didn't want to push any information out by cramming, I guess, at the last second. I think when I got on stage, though, it really just became a matter of having a lot of confidence, and then really when it comes to the clues, I mostly needed to ground myself in terms of buzzer timing because I know when people get nervous, they will start to come in too early on the buzzer because they feel like they're too
mhm.
late. But a lot of times people are just too early and they're getting locked out. So I would really spend with each clue about half of the time focusing on the content of the clue, and then pretty much the entire second half of the time just thinking about exactly when I needed to buzz in.
Yeah, because I mean, that's why it is a game, right? There's a technique. Everybody may have the answer, but then the game part kicks in. Who gets the buzzer at the right time? So, what has been the most surprising part of your Jeopardy experience? Was it stuff behind the scenes, interacting with the other contestants. I mean, when you sit down and you see the other contestants, you think to yourself, I'm going to be kicking your butt on stage a little bit. Or, do you know, I mean, do they have like a room full of contestants? How does that work when you first sit down?
Yeah, so when you sit down, you meet all the other contestants right away. The first day, there's a kind of an interesting sort of air of mystery where you don't know which one of them is the returning champion because everything
Ah,
is months delayed. So, like, whoever's on TV isn't hopefully the current champion. If they are, that's extra scary. But you show up not really knowing who the champion is, and then as the episodes are taping, you are watching them in real time with the remaining contestants. So there's sort of a feeling where you are gauging, just how much everyone else knows, which because we've all qualified for the show is always going to be a lot, no matter who it is. So yeah, it is very interesting to spend that much time with the contestants. You really get to like the taping day group for you gets to be this little like social circle. I'm still in touch with some of them.
that's cool. How far in advance is the taping? Or I guess it varies depending on the season, the time in the season, but was it about 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think in the earlier parts of the season, it's more of a month, and then as they get to the end of the season, which is where mine was, it was fully 2 weeks. No, sorry, not 2 weeks, 2 months out. So I was taping back in May, and it ended up airing in early July. So you're
Yeah,
just kind of sitting on that secret for a while.
that makes sense. And you can't tell anybody what status you had, right? You could just say, "Yeah, it was on." And you'll see. That's all you could say,
Yeah,
right?
so you just got to tell them to
That's
tune in.
amazing.
I had 8 people in the studio audience for me on for the first two games, so like they at least knew that. But then beyond those first two games, only one was able to stick around and see all 16 wins. So everybody else just had to be like, I hope he kept winning, but we really don't know.
What was the total amount you got? Are you allowed to say?
Games, games are like cash winnings.
Whichever, both.
Yeah, it was 16 wins for $455,000.
Wow. Do you have great plans with that money?
I have, a lot of hopefully responsible plans, but also I've been telling people, I would like to buy a marimba, that musical instrument.
And you could do that, my friend. One last question: do they have you coming back? Do you know if you're coming back on the Tournament of Champions, or is that I'm assuming you must.
Yeah, I will be back for the Tournament of Champions. The date for taping and for airing both haven't been set, so I'm still just it's as much of a mystery to me as to everybody else right now.
There you go. Well, please come back. We'd love to hear before and after, and we want to root for you. We're so proud of you. Jeopardy winner Scott Riccardi, we're living vicariously through you as a New Jersey man. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us this morning and congratulations on your wins. And that just proves good smarts will get you there. Good for you, Scott. Congrats.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Have a great day. Wow. So, when was the last time you got to talk to a Jeopardy person, right? A winner. That is fantastic.